titled Letting Your Heart Speak in the Spoken Word. And so essentially what we're going to be looking at is how to get to know the art of the written word and how to captivate the people that you're speaking to in your delivery. And for you tonight to walk us through this topic step by step and really journey with it is Eski. So Eski, his name is actually Ian Escandor, but he goes by Eski, and he's a great spoken word artist. Eski's passions lie in exploring creative and exciting avenues to really help build stronger communities within Western Sydney. His work involves the mentorship of emerging artists and curating projects highlighting diverse cultures and arts and community development, as well as youth therapeutic work and performative workshops, sharing his stories through hip hop and poetry, which are two awesome things singularly, but to bring them together is even greater. So Eski, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself really briefly?
So yeah, that's my name, Eski. That's my performance name. My real name is Ian. I'm a proud Filipino man from Bicol on the mainland of Luzon. That's where my parents are from. And I'm here in Western Sydney, and I manage a youth centre just in the heart of Mount Druitt, where we run music, creative workshops, and yeah, that's just
awesome. Yeah, sweet. And so spoken word is a pretty unique thing. So how did you kind of come to it? How long have you been doing it for? And, why does this form of creativity mean a lot to you as an individual?
Well, I started in high school doing rap battles because that was a thing back in high school. And I really took it seriously and started making my own hip hop music and rap. But then I really fell in love with like the lyric writing of it all when I started watching people on doing spoken word, mainly influenced by Def Jam poetry. I'm not sure if you guys know who they are, but whole bunch of artists from there. And I realized that in rap, you're so confined to this 4 beats a bar feeling, and poetry was a lot more freeing and open. And then I started getting into that, and yeah, it was a lot more. I guess you could just say a lot more in poetry.
And when you were first starting out, just out of curiosity, was spoken word a really big thing, or was the main emphasis still kind of around rap and rap music and this MC kind of idea?
It was still the rap stuff. I still hold hip hop close to my heart mainly. But then I've used poetry to touch on particular stories, my own stories. I feel like poetry really does that, gives a more authentic feel, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, because it's kind of just like, it's just words, no beats around it. You just kind of carry it on yourself.
There's no beat or like music behind, so.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, Eski, without further ado, I'll let you take the floor, man. This will be great. So I'm going to put myself on mute and go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, sure. Let's just test the Zoom functions. Can people send me like a thumbs up or an applause? Yeah, great. Cool. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to see if this works. Hopefully it works. Can you see that? Great. Great. Don't know what it looks like for you guys, but all right. Let your heart speak. So today, I'm going to set the intention for everybody. The intention for today is to be as open as you can be and exploring that inner creativity. I mean, I'm a bit nervous as well, obviously, as I'm the facilitator. But I am going to be asking people to share what they've written down as well. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's totally fine. But hopefully we get to a point where we can really trust each other and feel confident in expressing our truest selves. We're not looking for something that's rhythmically awesome or your vocabulary is at level 99. We just want to hear your authentic self. Is that cool with everyone? Thumbs up. Yay. Is there a function for thumbs? Oh, there is. Okay, thanks, Jen. What is poetry? Can people quickly write in the chat what poetry is to them? I'm just gonna not go full screen so I can see people in the chat. How do I stop this? What is poetry? I've lost it. Oh no. Here we go. A form of self-expression. Great. Let's just write this down. Self-expression. Intentional words. That's beautiful. Yep. Expressing of feelings, emotions in writing. Express vulnerability. Connect with others. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm getting the sense here it's very much about not just the self, but how we communicate ourselves to another person. Finding ways to connect. That's great. Great, cool. I just wanted to do this because it gives us an overview of what poetry means to us, or what it generally means in general. I'm going to show, is there a confident reader in the group that wants to? Is there anyone that wants to read this? Just waiting for someone to volunteer. I'm sort of looking at Jen.
Oh, good. I will go for it. All right. So this sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands some variety. Now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing signs. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences. And I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes when I am certain the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerate length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the sorry, I can't read properly, with all the impetus of a crescendo, that the roll of drums, the crash of the cymbal sounds, that say, listen to this, it is important. So write with a combination of short, medium, and long sentences. Create a sound that pleases the reader's ear. Don't just write words, write music.
That's really cool in a way that, like, you know, when I started rap and I was looking into poetry, I was like, how on earth do they implement rhythm in poetry? How do you get this bounce in your poems? And this says it all by Gary Provost, who talks about that there is still rhythm in the words. And I don't necessarily agree that 5 sentences is boring. However, you can see how it does really influence the rhythm and the way that you speak it out loud. So this is a spoken word workshop. And what we want to be able to do is, it's one form is writing it and putting it on paper and giving it for someone else to read. But it's even in that process, when they read it in their mind, they still read music, they still read rhythm. There's still, you're adding these intentional words, which was said before, I think by Quain. Intentional words, you're actually building intentional rhythm in your poetry as well. Let's look at a poem by Sarah Monsoor from Bankstown. If I can find it. Can people see this and hear it?
Where are you from?
Yep.
We've got sound, but we haven't got visual.
No visual. Yep.
Yeah, got you now.
When people ask me where I'm from, I tell them Punch Bowl. More often than not, they smile and reply, no, where are you from? I sigh, roll my eyes in an explanatory tone, say, Punch Bowl? You know, it's near Bankstown, the city where mouths do not ebb the flow of welcome in over 60 different tongues, where over 100 nationalities are housed under one postcode. This is my ode to the only place I know where no one is told to go back because everyone understands. This is my ode to home. My Australia is walking through the streets of Punch Bowl with the smell of freshly roasted Lebanese coffee kissing the Asian bakeries good morning. The eucalyptus towers overhead and the frangipani scent my breath as we sing the unofficial national anthem. I come from a land down under, living from beat to beat, bumping down the streets with Tupac on our tongues, and we're headed for the beach. Water, so unapologetically salty to the eyes, but we take it in our stride, remembering all the lessons at Greenacre Pool and at school when Cronulla hit high tide. My Australia is barbecues, or as my dad still says, barbecue, meat sizzling on the fire, homemade tabbouleh and tomato sauce, pavlova cake and knefe, the perfect cultural dichotomy. And it's not hard to see, no matter our creed, we always rep our team, hashtag Wanderers FC. This country will never be tainted by cafe sieges. We will always ride together from the mountains where the bushfires rage. We stand together down to the shore where the lifesavers age under that great southern sun. My Australia is one where women wear their saris and their colourful hijabs proudly. Men don sweat-stained collars like war badges. You can get the best fur in Sydney, the realest Lebanese and Chinese, and you feel at ease because no one judges your garlic breath or the tabbouleh stuck in your teeth. It is a place where you can get the most authentic spices in shops where foreign signs sit like jeweled crowns atop their doors. It is neighbours passing barbecued meat over the fence and always saying hello. It is all the stoic traditions. It is stoic, a community that's been hardened by media headlines. It is targeted, it is judged, it is 3 a.m. sirens and perceived thugs. But it is also where the call to prayer gently interludes with the ringing of church bells. It is coexistence, artistic resistance, like the Four Elements Youth Hip Hop Festival and the largest poetry slam in the country. It is my dad's voice, 25 years on, accent thick with resilience, warm like an autumn breeze, smelling of petrol and truck smoke and all the forgotten things, all the za'atar and the tahini and the crushed petals that were once dreams, saying to me, we are lucky. It's not perfect, but it's home. It will never be perfect, but it will always be home. My Australia is home when the rest of the world says no.
Can I react? That was so good. Thanks for sharing that.
This is amazing. She is awesome. And what we're going to do is write our own poem. Does everyone have a pen and paper? Ta-da. Yes? Cool. And our intention with this next activity is we want to write something. I mean, the theme is authentic and true to ourselves. Void from fear, because I always feel like fear, everyone always asks, what is myself? Who am I? What is my authentic self? I think my answer to that is a self that is free from fear, that is wanting to let go and be open. And I would encourage you to really dig deep and really find that inner self, that authentic self. And I'm going to do a little quick breathing exercise, if that's okay with people. So I'm a counselor by day, and I guide young people through meditation and breathing exercises. I'm not going to do a full lengthy one. We're just going to get into what we call the flow state or the zone. And then we're going to start writing. Is that okay with everyone? Yes, 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 yes. Well, if everyone's in a comfortable position, just get comfy. And if you want to close your eyes, that's totally fine too. If not, focus on a spot, maybe on the wall, not particularly my face, somewhere on the wall. And we just want to settle into this moment, breathing in and out through the nose. Just slowing down the breath, slowing down the thoughts, not allowing them to rest, just slowing them down. And we begin by just all that tension around your eyes, if you can just allow it to soften. And then unclench your jaw, slightly opening it. And then allowing your shoulders to drop. Again, your thoughts will come and go. It'll start thinking about what's going on outside. What is this? And that's okay. Just come back to the sound of my voice. And come back to the breath. Silently repeating in on the in breath and out on the out breath. Slowing the breath down. The edges of our eyes melt. The jaw unclenching. And the shoulders dropping. Now bringing our awareness to just the bottom of the ribs and feeling the sensation of the breath as your belly expands on the inhale and falls on the exhale. And staying with the sensation of the ribs for just a couple more breaths. Just slowing the breath down. Now to yourself, I'm going to say a couple of words and I want you to complete the sentence. These couple of words are, my truth is. Just complete the sentence just to yourself. My truth is. And just sitting with your answer just for a moment. So now as you slowly bring your attention back to the sound of my voice, we're going to just put our attention back to the breath, the sensation of it, our belly going in and out with the inhale and exhale. and listening from within for any last bits of guidance and direction, taking with you what is most important and meaningful. And together we're going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. In and out. In and out. And not forgetting anything that we took away in that breathing exercise. Start moving our bodies around, move the feet, shifting our hips around, moving our neck around, relaxing the jaw, our hands opening and closing. Together, we're going to take a big in-breath. And as we breathe out, we can open our eyes. Okay. You guys have 8 minutes. Let's start writing, and then we'll come back to the group. Is that good with everyone? Cool? Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're just gonna write anything. It could be about your Australia. It could be about your experience. Poetry. It could be about your truth. Whatever it is. If anyone has any questions or anything, You can just send me a private message on the chat. I'm also going to play some music, but if you write better in silence, you can just turn it down. Okay, we've got 1 more minute. Don't mean to rush you. Okay, pens down. do we have a volunteer that would like to share their poem?
I'll crack it open for the group.
Yes.
So I decided to go with that prompt of my truth is. I thought that was an awesome prompt, by the way. I thought that was like super thought provoking because I thought, wow, what is my truth? But the words that came to mind was that my truth is not for me. So this is this is not it for me. So this is what I wrote. My truth is that this is not for me. The mundane that I love is not the comfort that holds me, nor is it the bed that I will lie in. For the purpose of my life lies beyond the breakdowns of cutting my hair or educating young minds that couldn't care less. I'm made for more than this world will give, more than the life my parents created so I could live, more. My truth lies in the eternal, whether that's with the sweet seraphim or the enemy below to roast in the inferno. My truth is that this is not for me. That this is not it for me. There you go.
Round of applause. Well, in slam poetry, they do clicks, so I don't know if you can click it. That was amazing, Jen. I loved. I don't know if you took into account the rhythm of the words, but there were certain bits where you're like care less, and then the other bit was like the more. Was that intentional?
Yeah. Because I was like, these words aren't gonna flow, but we'll just make it work.
And it worked, and you tied it up really well in 8 minutes. That was really good. Is there anyone else? Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else that likes to share?
I'll give it a crack.
Okay, go, Queen.
This just gives you all more time for you to say yes after me. So, all right, here we go. So I agree with Jen. What a great prompt for us to start on. And I was really thinking about what is my truth at the moment. And so this comes out of a number of feelings. And so let's see how I go. Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? Clenched jaw, closed fist, as I try to resist talking back. I'm holding back before I snap. You see what I see? Here, there, on the air. Am I really alone? As I pick up the phone for the 100th time, Zoom call after Zoom call, just to say, hey, I'm fine. Instead of, I miss you. I need you. Lord, I need you. Am I lonely or am I bored? I'm trying not to blame you, but their comments are flawed. Why have you forsaken me? You cried from that tree, so surely you see what I see. Tired and broken, not open, exposed and waiting for this to end. I want my fists to open again. To you, Jesus, I need you. And perhaps I sit here alone in fear. Perhaps one moment of consolation remind me that you're near, and my question, why have you forsaken me, will be answered strong and clear.
Good, awesome. Thank you, Queen, for sharing. Thank you. And I can tell you've performed before. You're very performative in your. I don't know. I mean, I got that vibe. But very, very strong and very. You really looked inside for that one. And thank you for sharing, Queen. That was really good. I think my favorite bit was at the beginning where you were like, you rhymed back with snap, and then the way you said it, it's like felt like a snap, and then you went on a different rhythm or a different rhyme scheme, and it really accentuated it. And you know, I mean, these things, I don't know if you did that intentionally, but sometimes when we just let the pen write, it just writes itself, and we don't need to think of all these techniques and all these. I mean, I could have done that workshop. I could have talked about techniques and rhyme schemes, but I know that the most beautiful stuff comes when we just let it go. Let go and let God. Thank you, Quayne, again for sharing. We're going to do another activity, and that's going to bring us close to the end. Can everybody access this link? It's not a virus, it's a G drive. That link over there, it's in the chat group for people to find. So my intention for running this workshop was to get people in that, just understanding that, you know, we can keep writing, and sometimes our inspiration, and we'll get these roadblocks. If you get a roadblock, just move on to something else that will give you inspiration. So that last activity, we were really looking inside and seeing what are we telling ourselves. In this next activity, we're going to look at something else. We're going to look outside. What is the world telling us? And we're going to use that as a prompt. So has everyone gone into this link? Yeah, huh? Okay. Now you can see there's all these different photos in there. Hopefully I got enough. It might help changing the way it's displayed, like a thumbnail format. Choose one photo that really speaks out to you. Choose one photo, one picture. Has everyone chosen one? I wish I got more. I've chosen one. Thumbs up if you got one. Yay, cool. Jordy. Jason, Kat. Yep. Oh, give him a second. Yes. Mr. Jared Lobo. I don't know if, okay, cool. Janelle R, Jason. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Sophia. Okay. Okay, cool. You are there, Janelle. Why aren't your cameras on, guys? No, I'm kidding. I understand. All right. So we're going to give ourselves another 8 minutes. We're going to start writing poetry based on the photo that we chose. Now I want you to ask yourselves, if you're a bit stuck, ask yourself why you chose that photo. What is it about you that chose that photo? What speaks to you the most from that image? And again, just like the last one, we're using it as a prompt. You don't have to tell me everything about that photo, just using it as a prompt. And let's start writing. I started off at 8 minutes. I'll give you a warning, or no warning, the heads up in the last minute. Yeah, you got about 30 seconds. Okay. Kat and Victoria, I see you guys are in your. No, that's fine. No, don't let me stop you. Do your thing. Keep writing. If there's anyone that wants to share, you don't necessarily have to share this one. Maybe you thought your last one was better. Whatever better means. Does anyone want to share? All respects to Queen and Jen. Is there anyone else?
I'll give it a crack.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, sorry. So my setup is weird because I don't have a camera.
It's right. Okay. Okay.
So there's two me's, but one of them's my microphone.
Well, thank you, Jason, for stepping up.
Cool. So the spoken word stuff before was really short. I've been thinking a lot about communication because, you know, we're all on Zoom, but sometimes we're not really speaking. So I'll start with that. Communication. Words in a waterfall, clapping on the rocks, resounding in the hills. This way they are loud but never heard. Only in flow can a river's water be received, and only in flow can words be used to speak. Are we speaking? Are we heard? Or just crashing sounds into each other, like the waterfall when it stirs? And so that, yeah.
That was beautiful, man. That was really good. What was that line you said after the clapping against the rocks?
They resound in the hills.
No, there was a line, I think it was after that one.
Only in flow is the river's water received.
Yeah, wow. That's beautiful, man. Very, very visual. Love your work, Jason. Which one did you choose? I'm assuming there's one with some water and rocks.
Actually, ironically, I chose the picture with the girl with the scarf
Okay.
because it's like, this is the future, this is history, this is unwritten. And then I was like, the same theme, like, how do we pass things on? How come we have so much trouble speaking but still pass on the truth? That sort of stuff.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. I mean, I don't have to explain, but you know, a picture speaks 1,000 words, and I guess the poet's job is to translate the words. And that's really good. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. Was there anyone else I wanted to share? Even if it's incomplete, I actually didn't expect you guys to complete poems in 8 minutes. Even if it's incomplete, that was the whole point of that's the quick turnaround. Trying to get you to write incomplete poems.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yes.
Unmuting me.
Oh.
I'm like, no, stop. I'm scared. I'm actually nervous. Hey.
It's okay.
I feel like this is so just like too emo. But I chose the image. It's towards the end. The shoes in the water. Okay. The miles you've walked, the steps you've climbed. You had purpose, but now you're left But now you're left broken. Remember the memories we shared, but I guess it's now thrown out, overused, and abandoned. Left to the curb, the edge of the water, sturdied and stained. What's the use? What's the use? There's no use. You're no use. The end.
Thank you, Catherine. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And I like this whole, I mean, that's what poetry is, right? Where we're writing on these pieces of paper. It's like that back and forth, and I could hear it in your poem, very clear. Yeah, and here I am trying to find out like why technically it's good, but I think we don't really intend that when we write our poems, right? We just write. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing something so personal. That wraps it up. Was there anyone else that wanted to share, you know, just let it out before we go? Oh, yay. Okay.
So I did the fourth picture where it was like all those triangles on that girl. I can't remember. I don't know, it was a bit of a weird one. So, fractured, made out of so many parts and yet still cracking. No longer can I see myself. With every new piece, I become more changed. I stray further from the path of what I once was. Where do I end and this new person starts? Fractured. Each part has a different story. They come from different people, from all different periods of my life. And instead of combining into a melting pot, they've slowly cooled, breaking, fracturing under different pressures. Each fracture, each crystal, they represent me, and yet they don't. Many fractures belong to others, some long gone and some newly met. They don't belong to me, and yet each fracture forms me. Combined, they form a mosaic which shows me to the world. Fractured, but not weaker. Fractured and stronger.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really good. You know what, Victoria, I was sort of expecting you to end the poem with the word fracture. I'm sort of glad you did it, even though like the repetition was all there. Yeah, no, I love that one. Thank you for sharing, Victoria. Thank you. That was really good. I like it. It started really good because it was like, you know, fracture is a weakness. And then at the end of it, it was like, no, it's a strength. Brilliant, brilliant work. Well, I'm only looking at Jenny and Tara because your cameras are on. Did you guys want to do it before we left? Whatever you've written?
That's really hard to follow. I don't think I'll, be able to. But like amazing work, everyone. It's so powerful to hear what you guys have been writing. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And Jenny? I know you wrote something there. This was awesome. Yep, sorry, go.
I love the experience. Thank you very much. I'm the oldest one here, so it was such a pleasure to talk about my grandson, and also, yeah, really loved the experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. The great thing about it is now that you guys have, whether they're incomplete or complete, you have that experience of writing now, and take that. You know, this workshop doesn't exist within a vacuum. We could take, especially you have so much time in your hands, we're in lockdown. So keep writing. And especially if you have an incomplete poem, it's now a challenge for you to finish the poem as well. That's it from me. In a bit over time. Jen?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eski. Yeah, and I think Jenny and Tara said it really well that, this is a great workshop to be able to be a part of. And for everyone who shared, thank you so much. And for the people who didn't share, I hope that you guys were still able to really receive from all the information and guidance that Eski gave to us. I know that we're running a little bit short on time, but, I think we've got time for one or two questions. So if anyone wanting to jump in, if that's all right, Eski, with you.
Yep.
Was there any questions that you guys had? You can either put them in the chat or you can go ahead and unmute yourself. I think just from watching the kind of reaction from sharing, I think sometimes it can get really caught in that that mindset of perfection to be able to share. Would you say that you have any tips for like kind of overcoming that need for artistic perfection before sharing, Eski?
Someone told me with being a parent, I'm not a parent, but someone told me with being a parent, it's not about being perfect, it's just about being good enough. And I take that same vein into poetry. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good enough. And then share it. Yeah, share it to the world. That's one thing I would say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Eski. Guys, if there's no other questions, I'm going to pass it over to Queen. And, I'm sure that if you have questions or thoughts that you want to take up with Eski a bit later, I'm sure there'll be a way to reach out to him. But I'm going to throw it over to Queen now to let us conclude the session that we've had tonight. So thank you very much.
Awesome.